Happy New Year. I wanted to talk a little bit about goal setting today since I know it's a time of year that a lot of people are looking at New Year's resolutions, and I think that's great. I also hope that we can look at building a foundation to continue working on goals throughout the year and not just for a few weeks or a few months at the beginning of the year. So if you've never worked on goal setting, there's a few tips that I would encourage you to consider. So these are a few things that I like to talk about. When we're looking at setting goals, we do want to create SMART goals here. So it's an acronym. So that stands for specific goals. You want them to be measurable, achievable, relevant, and also time-bound. And so try to kind of consider those pieces when you're creating your goals. So you can have big long-term goals. For example, if someone says, I want to lose 50 pounds, that's great. That's obviously not going to happen really quickly. So we need to look at more weekly and monthly goals that would lead up to that big goal. So when you are looking at creating some goals, I encourage you to find either a piece of paper, track this on your phone or an Excel sheet, or just even use something like a whiteboard here. And I know a lot of times we're focused more on physical type results or goals, maybe weight loss as a big one, obviously this time of year. But I also encourage people to also look at things like mental, emotional health and goals, also personal growth. So it doesn't need to just be something really specific. Like, how do you want to feel? Like, weight loss is an important thing for health and wellness, but how about energy levels? Are you getting enough sleep? A lot of times we forget about things from like a personal growth standpoint. Is there a hobby or maybe a class or a skill that you've been wanting to learn more about or master and you just haven't had the chance? That's a great thing to kind of build in, add a little bit more variety and add in some fun as well to your goals. The mental, emotional, I mean, are there certain books that you're wanting to read? Are you interested in meditation? From a physical standpoint, again, like if you're wanting to talk about exercise or weight loss, be specific. Don't just say, I'm going to exercise this month. Well, that's not specific enough. So I encourage people to say what types of exercise specifically. Do you want stretching in there, cardio, weights, things like that? And then make sure, again, create a time-bound goal. So for how long are you wanting to do this type of exercise or these specific things? And then what's the frequency? So for example, this is just an example, but if you want, say I want to do 30 minutes of exercise 4 times a week, because again, we need to be realistic. Saying I'm going to do this every single day for 6 months is not realistic. So make sure you're setting goals so you can feel good about achieving those and not setting yourself up for something that's going to be really hard to maintain. So then you can kind of just track and say, okay, how many times a week have I done that? And again, don't overwhelm yourself with a lot of big goals that are going to be really time consuming. So those would be just a few tips on